I want to be the best. Today's fighters, they have been taught that that's not the way to do it nowadays. Nowadays, go for the bag.
Got lucky because the only fight for Tank outside of after Lamont Roach was Shakur Stevenson.
Facts.
Right? Now they've got another opponent that will do well at the gate because of the controversy.
Yep.
And it ain't Shakur Stevenson. I keep telling people Shakur Stevenson beats Tank.
At an article, when we look at all the great fighters that's been, I wouldn't say disrespected, but they was going through that. Oh, he ain't fight this, he ain't do this. All of them go through that. That's part of the boxing game. Stay strong, youngin', you know.
Roy Jones Jr. confronted Gervonta Davis, telling him he should fight Shakur Stevenson instead of Jake Paul. He expressed that modern fighters focus more on earning money rather than creating history or building a lasting name in boxing. Roy explained that Tank has learned this mindset from his mentor Floyd Mayweather, choosing safer fights for financial gain instead of taking risks for legacy.
The same thing, so why can't he do it? You know what I'm saying? He made more money than anybody. He was smarter than everybody. He didn't take too many stupid risks. That's what he did, and it worked for him. And people okay with that and accepting it. So why can't Tank do it? Tank can do the same thing the mentor did. That's what the mentor is for, to teach you how to do this thing the smart way and not get you hurt, not have to take no risks, not to take many chances. So if that's what you learn, if that's the easy way out, why not do that?
The boxing world agrees that the fight between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis is what truly defines boxing's competitive spirit. Both are elite fighters with natural skill and proven records, which makes their matchup far more appealing than Tank's bout with Jake Paul, who is still seen as a YouTuber turned boxer rather than a true professional. Viewers want to see real talent face real talent, not an exhibition meant only for profit. Shakur and Tank both hold reputations built through hard work, training, and mastery in the ring. A fight between them would not just bring excitement, but also settle the debate over who stands as the most complete fighter of this generation.
If we can get Shakur to have 2 belts, we have Tank to get a couple of the belts, and you have a undisputed fight for those two in Las Vegas, in America, between 2 American guys getting undisputed championship of the world. That would be a mega fight. And we're talking about 2 guys that you have the most dominant, persistent, powerful guy, pound for pound powerful guy, I should say, in Tank, who also is very good defensively. But then you're fighting the best defensive fighter in the entire world, in my opinion. That is a fight I would love to see happen. I would be a big fan of, but I think if we could let that kind of fester and develop for a little bit, and we get that fight, summertime next year, fall of next year, where this is an undisputed fight, I think that's the fight we would love to see happen. I would be all for that. And I think it's realistic. Like I said, I don't think Tank's losing to anybody except for possibly Shakur, and I don't think Shakur's losing to anybody except for possibly Tank.
Roy Jones Jr., one of boxing's most respected veterans, openly expressed that Jake Paul will never become a world champion. He said it with confidence, not out of hate, but out of understanding how hard it is to reach that level in boxing. Jones explained that the sport demands more than just training and publicity. It requires years of experience, a sharp boxing IQ, and true grit inside the ring. He added that Jake's rise through celebrity and hand-picked opponents doesn't reflect the same struggle real champions go through. While Jones gave credit to Jake for improving and drawing attention to boxing, he made it clear that true greatness comes from challenging yourself against skilled fighters.
Will Jake Paul become a world champion?
No.
Why?
I think if they make him fight tough opponents, guys with experience, those guys will beat him. Now, if you catch somebody like myself at the end of their career, or somebody like Tyson, he caught at the end of their career, the chances are much higher. Because now it becomes more of a 50-50. You got a guy who's better than him, but the age factor. You understand me? And that's the only way to balance it for him to make it a 50-50 fight. Somebody who's on his level at the same age, those guys have too much experience. You understand me? So he's not going to beat those guys. But you find a guy who is past his prime, who has the mentality further than his, but past their prime, it kind of evens the stakes.
Tim Bradley shared his opinion that Shakur Stevenson doesn't really need a fight with Gervonta Davis. According to him, if Shakur believes Tank has fought no real challenges or achieved nothing special, then chasing that fight doesn't make sense. Bradley explained that it's not about legacy for Shakur, but about the spotlight and attention that Tank brings with him. He said that Tank's name draws viewers and money, and that's why Shakur wants to share the ring with him, not because of any meaningful competition. Bradley's point highlights a modern problem in boxing. Too many fighters are drawn by fame and finances instead of proving who's the best. Yet deep down, Shakur still sees Tank as a challenge worth taking because he represents power and status.
Elite fighters, so on and so forth. So, with that being said, why even want to entertain the fight with Tank Davis? I mean, how much credit are you going to really get, Shakur, besides the money, right? That's what Tank brings. He brings interest. He brings a lot of fans in the seats, you know. But as far as legacy goes, if people are holding Tank at a very low status, what, do you need him? Do you really need him? How you doing, man? Good morning. Do you really need him? Because I personally don't think that you need him, you know. Shakur, you should be here to create your own legacy, you know. You're about the competition. You are about that bread as well. And I think it's important for you to really look at the landscape, man, of boxing and see where your big money fights are, you know, besides Tank Davis. As you know, you hear through the grapevine, I think he even told you on X that, you know, he's contemplating retirement after his Jake Paul fight. You know, you're getting ready, hopefully, if Teofimo Lopez signs the contract, Shakur, to be fighting Teofimo Lopez, who has accomplished quite a bit in the sport, man, and has been in the ring with some legends, Josh Taylor, also Lomachenko. I think that type of fight makes sense. You know, going up to 140 pounds, getting another strap, you know, beating the quote-unquote the Ring Magazine champion, or considered the best #1 fighter at 140 pounds.
Carl Froch did not hold back his opinion about Jake Paul's decision to fight Gervonta Davis. He called Jake a bully for choosing to face someone much smaller than himself. Froch explained that Jake, being naturally heavier, is using his size advantage to appear dominant, but that doesn't prove real boxing skill. He criticized the match as a business stunt rather than a fair competition, pointing out that Tank is giving up too much in size and weight to make it a serious fight. Froch added that boxing should be about equal skill and courage, not about who can use physical advantage to gain an upper hand. His words reflect the frustration of many purists who believe boxing should maintain
I think it's ridiculous. Jake Paul's taking the piss, like he always does. Just from saying, I'm going to fight AJ tonight, fighting Gervonta Davis, who's 100 pounds in weight lighter. 100 pounds. Weight divisions in boxing are split up, some of them, the lower weights, by 3 or 4 pounds. All I can say about Jake Paul fighting somebody half his size is he's a bully. Why are you fighting a guy half his size? It's wrong. Yeah. He's gone from Krusty the Clown now to Sideshow Bob. He's getting worse. You know what I mean? Like, this is a guy that's just taking a piss out of the sport, and I don't think this has actually gained much interest. The press conference was dead. Yeah, I noticed there wasn't many press there. It's not had a big media coverage. Yeah. I think people are finally realising, actually, that this is a big charade, and yeah, I think I'm not impressed. Gervonta Davis, I think maybe he's had enough of the game. He got a draw in his last fight. He was lucky to get the draw as well. But yeah, the whole thing again, it's a clown show. And Jake Paul's a bully.
Shakur Stevenson made a bold statement claiming that Tank Davis will never want to step into the ring with him because he knows how difficult that fight would be. Shakur said it not with arrogance, but with confidence in his own abilities. He believes that Tank's team understands the danger of facing someone with his defensive skills and ring intelligence. Shakur has a reputation for reading opponents easily and controlling the pace of the fight, something that could frustrate an aggressive puncher like Tank. By saying this, Shakur indirectly challenged Tank's courage and hinted that his recent choices in opponents suggest caution rather than ambition. Fans saw this as a psychological jab meant to push Tank into accepting the fight, but so far...
One more question before I go. Why not fight Tank at 135?
Tank ain't gonna fight him, man. He not gonna fight him.
You gotta realize with Tank, he on that other side where he gonna, you know,
Take all the cupcakes. Alex, say it.
Man, I'm quite sure.
Look,
the fight you here.
So you saying he don't want to put that record up?
Look,
Shady. I know Tank.
Man.
I know Tank, Shady.
I know Tank too.
Let him talk. Go ahead.
Hey, I know Tank too, and I know for a fact at the end of the day, like, he is not jumping into no fight with me. Like, that's a whole different type of atmosphere. That's not like fighting. I'm saying.
So basically, you telling me Tank scared?
I ain't gonna say the man scared. I'm just saying for a fact.
So what
I know
saying?
he not jumping in the ring with me.
Promoter Eddie Hearn shared his honest view that he doesn't believe Tank Davis ever seriously considered fighting Jake Paul for competitive reasons. He said Tank had the chance for a rematch with Lamont Roach or to accept a fight with Shakur Stevenson, but instead he chose the easier, more profitable option. According to Hearn, Tank took the Jake Paul fight because it offered a massive paycheck and less risk. He argued that if Tank truly wanted to challenge himself, he would have taken the Stevenson fight, which would test both men's skill and heart. Hearn confidently stated that if Shakur and Tank ever met in the ring, Shakur...
If you were Tank's promoter, what would the next step be for Tank?
I heard they were going to fight Jake Paul. When I see Jake Paul at the event and I see Jake Paul posting from the private jet with a picture of Gervonta,
slapped it.
Yeah, but they had that for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
You had to buy it. You had to get it made.
Yeah, but I can't believe that fight was going to happen. But anyway, crazy stuff's happening. Yeah, you got to rematch Lamont Roach. You got to. It'll probably get ordered. That's the reality by the New York State Athletic Commission. But listen, they may have got lucky because the only fight for Tank outside of after Lamont Roach was Shakur Stevenson.
Facts.
Right? Now they've got another opponent that will do well at the gate because of the controversy.
Yep.
And it ain't Shakur Stevenson. I keep telling people Shakur Stevenson beats Tank. You cannot say that Shakur Stevenson would not have beaten Tank last Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he would have.
When Shakur Stevenson criticized Gervonta Davis for taking the Jake Paul fight, calling him not competitive, it created a strong reaction among fans and analysts. Shakur felt Tank was wasting his talent by accepting fights that didn't challenge him. However, some analysts disagreed, saying it's unfair to label Tank as non-competitive just because of one exhibition match. They pointed out that every fighter goes through phases of choosing certain fights for financial reasons or exposure. Still, the frustration...
Shakur Stevenson keeps talking about Gervonta Davis. Now, he's being asked about Gervonta, so it's not as if he's just going out of his way to just start talking nonsense, and I don't believe he's talking nonsense any way it goes, but he was asked in one of his recent interviews about Gervonta, and he said that he doesn't believe Gervonta Davis is a competitive fighter right now. That is because he is fighting Jake Paul in a exhibition fight that will be taking place. I do believe it's November 13th or somewhere around there is going to be the date. Obviously, Shakur Stevenson is talking out the side of his neck with that because just because Gervonta Davis takes one exhibition doesn't mean that he's not a competitive fighter. He just fought Lamont Roach earlier this year, proves that he is obviously a competitive fighter. And he's already stated that once he goes and picks up this money from Jake Paul, that he's going to come back and he's going to go back to boxing. So I reject the idea that Gervonta Davis is not a competitive fighter. He's not fully into the scene like Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson are, where Mike Tyson has had, his second or third exhibition. This will be his third one coming up. He had one against Roy Jones. He had another one against Jake Paul, and now he's going to have one against Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has been doing these for years and years and years, ever since way back in 2016 or 2017, whatever the year was, when he beat Conor McGregor in what should have been an exhibition, but was counted as Floyd Mayweather's 50th professional win. Gervonta Davis has not done nearly enough to be considered a full-time exhibition fighter. So I think Shakur Stevenson is not just a little bit off on that, but a lot off on that. I just think that is an unfair representation of it.
Tank Davis's longtime trainer, Calvin Ford, defended him, saying that people forget fighters have lives outside the ring. He explained that at the end of the day, boxing is still a job, a dangerous one, and fighters have every right to choose what's best for themselves and their families. Ford said that Tank's critics are quick to judge, but every legendary boxer has faced similar accusations of ducking certain fights or prioritizing money. He added that Tank has earned the right to make his own choices and that criticism.
A rematch Lamont. What are your thoughts on that, you know?
Tank, everybody he fight, he make famous. Roach was a nobody before he fought. Nobody. World champion. You know what I'm saying? I look at it like this. If any of them top guys that they talk about would have had an offer that been offered to Tank, they'd have jumped on it too. That's happening. You know what I'm saying? My suggestion is you put me in a light where everybody know me now. You know what I'm saying? Let me keep it moving. I come back to Tank later. You know what I'm saying? I understand that's the biggest payday of his life. You know what I'm saying? But it's more out there. You know now. You know what I'm saying? You look at Pitbull, he running with it. Brody still on top. Barrio still on top. You know what I'm saying? Martin about to fight soon, so it's about to see where he's at. I just look at it like, oh, forget about that. Tank, go in and do what you got to do, because at the end of the day, it's about taking care of you and your family. You know what I'm saying?
It was more of a business decision for this fight. Is there still hope that a rematch happens?
It's based on the individuals, you know what I'm saying? Because we have seen old fighters got back in the ring to finish the settlement. It's based on the fighters or what they want to do. And one thing people don't understand, money is being spent before the fight. You see what we walked into. It was a nice press conference from New York to here. A lot of money been involved doing what they're doing to get it off, you know what I'm saying? And actually, everybody didn't believe in the Tank and Roach fight, the first fight. But look at it now, it came into be a what? A bigger fight now. So we have to wait and see how this fight finish out.
Show Is the Adult analyzed the situation differently, saying Jake Paul is an opportunist who will take advantage of any opening Tank gives him. He warned that Tank should not underestimate Jake just because he's a celebrity boxer. According to him, Jake has power and confidence, and if the opportunity arises, he will go for a knockout without hesitation. Showbiz advised Tank to
On lollygag, this ain't gonna be nothing, and Calvin Ford is like he ain't gonna play with you. Listen, Jake Paul is an opportunist. We know this is an exhibition, but Jake Paul is about his bottom line and MVP's bottom line. And if that means sacrifice Tank by knocking his ass over the top rope, Jake Paul is going to deliberately do it. He's going to go out there to knock him out. I promise you. That's why I'm telling Tank Davis, don't bull jive. See, there's a lot of people eating off of Tank Davis right now because, like Calvin Ford said, Tank, you're being too nice. Where's the beast at? Grow your mane back out. We got to see the beast.
Chael Sonnen commented on how massive the promotion behind the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis fight has become. He said the event is being treated like a multi-million-dollar production, with press conferences designed to create tension and drama. Son noted how Jake used personal attacks, even bringing up Tank's legal issues, which made the confrontation intense. Tank's refusal to respond showed his discomfort, but also revealed how personal the rivalry has become. Sonnen believes this buildup isn't just business. It's now emotional, with both men trying to outshine the other, not only in the ring, but also in the public eye. He said, the amount...
Tank was not ready for this. I feel, should have known. I got an article written about me to personalize this, but I got insulted. I was insulted back in about 2012. I was known as the best guest. I was known as the best interview. I was known as the best guy for a press conference. And somebody comes out and they goes, hey, he's got these planned. He's got these lines planned ahead of time. This guy isn't so great. And I remember finding that very comical. I have never had a test in my life where the teacher told us a test was coming up, that I didn't prepare for it. I couldn't imagine walking into something. It could be the fight itself. I couldn't imagine not preparing for it. And Tank was simply caught off guard. This is what he does. He's a descendant of Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd did as good of a job as anybody at making sure those press conferences in that image and that character, and it was nothing more than that. It was a character, but he made sure that it was dynamic and compelling. And I just share for you, like he wasn't ready. And it got dirty. It got very, very dirty. Tank apparently has something where he was accused and possibly even charged. If I use the wrong words, I don't know the story. I learned it yesterday when Jake brought it up.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned. Until next time.